Well, look what showed up today. The last part for our Hack Sioux Falls event. These are the last of the components that just arrived. So let me zoom in and we'll go through each of them. All right, as you saw, they didn't all fit on my desk at once. So I've got a couple of them here, so let's go through them real quick. I've got a couple of different varieties. These just have the LEDs just right on this little tiny thin little strip. So these will fit nicely. These here are a little bit larger, and they have this little silicone, and it's meant to be a waterproofing thing that's around them. So they take up a little bit more room, but they've kind of got a little bit more flexibility to them. So I got a bunch of those as well. Now these are going to be cut into smaller strips. These are each about 5 meters long. And they're going to be cut into 1 meter lengths. So I've got, I think there's 6 of these total of the different styles, and there's one other style too that's got a little bit of a silicone on the top. These right here were a little bit of a last minute item. These are actually little tiny volt and amp meters that get plugged into USB ports. So what you can do is you can plug these in, and then they have 2 ports, 1 on each side, 2 outs, kind of like a charger that you would have. Then you can plug a device into them, and then it'll show the current and voltage readout of what the draw is. Now I bought these, and I don't have enough for everybody. I bought 5 of them, mostly because they were about, I think they were $2 a piece. Might have been a little bit less than that. But these are actually really handy to see if your project is short-circuiting, but also we can tell if the current is being pulled too great for the Arduino. So just thought they'd be handy to have on hand. All right, the next little piece here is 2 parts. These are those little LED modules. There's 8 LEDs on them. These come with no kind of header on them. They're just like this side here where you just have the pads. But I want to be able to solder some headers on. I have some male headers here, but I'm thinking of switching those to the female headers. But I thought these just kind of wobbling around wasn't that exciting. So I built these little cases. These are some prototypes here that I was working on. So these are all just some example ones that didn't quite work out. This is the near final design that I've got. I 3D printed these. I built these through Tinkercad. This one still has some raft on the bottom. I didn't bother to scrape off. But anyway, these are going to be little holders, and you can see there's some mount holes here if we need to mount them down on something. But then these are going to slide right in here, and then the pins come out the side, and then they fit in there nice and snug, so they're not going to fall around. And then what we're going to do is we'll have some of these guys here that get plugged in like this, just so they're a little bit easier to use. So anyway, that's I've got to print more of these. Right now I've just got a couple printed, and then I also need to go through all of these little cards and solder some headers on them. So I'm still working on that, but we'll get that done here in the next couple of days. What I have here are just some component trays. Now I was looking for something and I just couldn't find anything to buy. So I ended up 3D printing these. I still have a bunch to go. But these are little component trays, and I'll have a couple of different colors. Now they don't look like much, but these are going to be really handy when it comes to being able to put components in when we've got little resistors or little buttons or some little ICs. And just little components. It's just so handy to have them that we can kind of keep everything contained, and then they don't slide off the table. So each of the kids will get one of these. They're currently being 3D printed on my printer, and these will just come in real handy. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to slip these inside of a little Ziploc bag so they can have all their components, all the loose components, put it in a bag, seal it up, and then everything will stay in one spot so it doesn't get lost as we move things around. So there's those, and I got one more thing to show you. All right, so this is the last little piece that I was going to show you today. This was a little bit of a last minute addition. You may recognize the buttons from one of my earlier videos. So I bought a whole bunch of these buttons, and they're all different sizes and styles. I got some round ones, some flat ones, and there's a whole bunch of different colors. The problem I ran into is these didn't fit into the breadboard very well. And my concern was the legs were going to get broken and bent. You can see how small those legs are. So what I decided to do was to solder them into these little tiny perf boards, and you can see here where the feet are sticking out. Now they're going to sit nicely within these breadboards, and they'll cover that gap in the middle so that we can hook the wires up so we hook wires up on either side. Now I'm not going to leave them like this. This is actually just how I'm going to be soldering them together. Right in here, this will be cut and this will be cut. So I'll have one with 2, or I'll have 2 of them with 2, and then one with 1 button. And then we'll be able to kind of pick and choose. Now, if you remember, these tops actually come off. And I've got a lot of different colors and styles and sizes on these, so we can just move those around, and it doesn't really matter if you want to have a different color or whatever it is that you're doing. And then we'll be able to use more than, if we want to do just one or two, we can, or if we want to hook a couple of them together and do, 5 or 6, about 5 will fit in a single breadboard. But we can also set up multiple breadboards. So anyway, I'm going to be soldering these up. These are going to take a little bit of time to do, but they go pretty quick. I may not have these done for day one, but we'll get them out. So anyway, that's all I've got for you tonight. Looking forward to it. Everything. The Hack Sioux Falls starts this Saturday, April 7th. If you're already signed up and registered, great, thanks. If not, if you're interested in kind of checking out what we're doing, go over to hacksiouxfalls.com, and there's a spot in there where you can leave a note or a message. Send me a message and let me know who you are and that you want to stop by for the event. Love to have you as a guest. And also, if you just want to talk a little bit about what we're doing, if you're interested in sponsoring a future one or having your kids sign up for a future one, just send me a message and I'll get you added to the list. So with that, we'll see you this weekend if you're going to be part of the event.